The Russian-German Nord Stream 2 pipeline is back in the news. So are tensions between Ukraine and Russia. And some people think that they might be connected, and I'm inclined to agree. And so I'm making this video to kind of explain what's happening and also to warn people about what might happen, because this could get very serious. And I've been warning people that as Nord Stream 2 gets closer and closer to completion, the US will grow more and more desperate to sabotage this project. Now, what is Nord Stream 2? It is a pipeline that goes from Russia under the ocean to Germany. And it's being built by Russian and German and some other European companies, and both Russia and Western Europe are going to benefit immensely from this project. It's going to obviously help Russia. They're selling their hydrocarbons to Western Europe in greater quantities. They're able to bypass countries in the middle that could be destabilized by the US and cut off their gas supply. Western Europe benefits by having cheap Russian hydrocarbons. And of course, every company involved in building and maintaining the pipeline also benefit financially. So it's a win-win for everybody. What could the US's problem possibly be? The US is an empire. It seeks to control everything on Earth. It wants to encircle and contain Russia and also China. But it also wants to dictate everything that happens in Western Europe. If we look at articles like this recent one from Politico, Biden looks to appoint special envoy to kill Russia-Germany energy pipeline. The headline alone should just strike people as absolutely outrageous. This pipeline comes nowhere close to anything that could be perceived as American territory. It's on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean. How is this any of America's business? And you have to go through quite a bit of the article to even get to where the US explains how this could possibly be any of their business. And they're saying for Washington, the pipeline would place Russian infrastructure inside NATO territory and thereby threaten its member states. But those member states would be all countries that are in Western Europe. And they all want this pipeline to go through. They're working on it. They're going to directly benefit from it. So this is the United States deciding for Western Europe that this is a threat that Western Europe isn't smart enough to understand or protect themselves from. The US is going to intervene. It's going to override their sovereignty as nations and protect them from this Russian pipeline. That's basically what the US is saying. And they're saying some European countries will become more dependent on Russian energy. And it'll also deprive Ukraine of billions of dollars in revenue by allowing Russia to circumvent the country when transferring gas to Europe. But if Russia doesn't want to transfer gas through Ukraine, especially after the US overthrew the government there in 2014 and installed an extremely anti-Russian proxy regime, isn't that Russia's choice to do? Again, how is this America's business? And America is so desperate to sabotage this pipeline that we have seen them do extremely reckless things. The intervention in Ukraine, for example, this was to sabotage Russian gas transfers to Western Europe. That was the whole point of it. The poisoning of Alexei Navalny, this very unpopular opposition figure that almost no one even knew about, funded by the US government, but very unsuccessful. That was not Russia. Russia had no reason to do that. They didn't benefit from it in any way. Navalny's team rushed him to Germany, of all places, specifically to take a poisoned opposition figure and plop him right in the middle of Germany, so the US could wag their finger at Berlin and tell them, how could you possibly finish the Nord Stream 2 pipeline with Russia when they're poisoning their opposition figures? It was designed to pressure Germany. So when we see this tension growing between Ukraine and Russia, and we know that it's the US encouraging Kiev to do this, if a war breaks out, Russia has promised that they will protect the people in the easternmost oblasts. If Russia intervenes, we could only imagine the US talking about Russia invading Ukraine, crimes against humanity, violations of international law. and the amount of pressure that they're going to try to put on Berlin to cancel the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. They might even decide to intervene because they believe that Germany has lost its right to determine this for themselves. This is so dangerous to everyone involved, and it just goes to show you how not Russia, because Western Europe has chosen to do this project with Russia. It's not Russia, it's not Western Europe that's the problem, it's the US, the single largest obstacle to peace and stability in the world today. So please keep an eye on this. Now that you know the background of this whole situation, you can look out for news items that will give you an idea of which direction this is going to go in. So if you thought this video was useful, please like it, and also please share it. Think about subscribing to my channel. It's free to do and it helps the channel grow. Check the video description for the links to these articles that I cited, as well as to ways you can help support my work so that I can continue making videos like this. And as always, thank you for watching.